Hello, and this is Delia again. I'm reading The Struggle. I don't even know what chapter this is. But anyway, this is where we left off. Let me turn the light off. Let's see. Alright, we left off at the fawn, startled fawns. It was strange to sit at a half-empty table with only Bonnie and Meredith for company. Usually people were crowding to get seats around the three of them. We didn't finish talking this morning, Meredith said. Get something to eat and then we'll figure out what to do about those notes. I'm not hungry, said Elena flatly. And what can we do? If it's Damon, there's no way we can stop him. Trust me, it's not a matter for the police. That's why I haven't told them he's the killer. There isn't any proof, and besides, they would never. Bonnie, you're not listening. Sorry, said Bonnie, who was staring past Elena's left ear, but something weird is going on up there. Elena turned. Vicki Bennett was standing at the front of the cafeteria, but she no longer seemed crumpled and subdued. She was looking around the room in a sly and assessing manner, smiling. Well, she doesn't look normal, but I wouldn't say she was being weird exactly, Meredith said. Then she added, wait a minute. Vicki was unbuttoning her cardigan, but it was the way she was doing it, with deliberate little flicks of her fingers, all the while looking around with that secretive smile. That was odd. When the last button was undone, she took the sweater daintily between forefinger and thumb and slid it down over first one arm and then the other. She dropped the sweater on the floor. Weird is the word, confirmed Meredith. Students crossing in front of Vicki with laden trays glanced at her curiously and then looked back over their shoulders. When they had passed, they didn't actually stop walking, though, until she took off her shoes. She did it gracefully, catching the heel of one pump on the toe of the other and pushing it off. Then she kicked off the second pump. She can't keep going, murmured Bonnie, as Vicky's fingers moved to the simulated pearl buttons on her white silk blouse. Heads were turning. People were poking one another and gesturing. Around Vicky, a small group had gathered, standing far enough back that they didn't interfere with everyone else's view. The white silk blouse rippled off, fluttering like a wounded ghost to the floor. Vicky was wearing a lacy off-white slip underneath. There was no longer any sound in the cafeteria except the sibilance of whispers. No one was eating. The group around Vicky had gotten larger. Vicky smiled demurely and began to unfasten clasps at her waist. Her pleated skirt fell to the floor. She stepped out of it and pushed it to one side with her foot. Somebody stood up at the back of the cafeteria and chanted, "Take it off, take it off." Other voices joined in. "Isn't anybody going to stop her?" fumed Bonnie. Elena got up. The last time she'd gone near Vicky, the other girl had screamed and struck out at her. But now, as she got close, Vicky gave her the smile of a conspirator. Her lips moved, but Elena couldn't make out what she was saying over the chanting. "Come on, Vicky, let's go," she said. Vicky's light brown hair tossed, and she plucked at the strap of her slip. Elena stooped to pick up the cardigan and wrap it around the girl's slender shoulders. As she touched Vicky, those half-closed eyes opened wide like a startled fawn's again. Vicky stared about her wildly, as if she'd just been awakened from a dream. She looked down at herself, and her expression turned to disbelief. Pulling the cardigan around her more tightly, she backed away, shivering. The room was quiet again. "It's okay," said Elena soothingly. "Come on." At the sound of her voice, Vicky jumped as if touched by a live wire. She stared at Elena, and then she exploded into action. "You're one of them. I saw you. You're evil." She turned and ran barefoot out of the cafeteria, leaving Elena stunned. So that was chapter 7, and that was the last part of that. And I will be reading more.